Joy Reid compared Kyle Rittenhouse's crying on the stand to Brett Kavanaugh saying that both were fake. All right, let's go.
So it's Kyle Rittenhouse trial. It reminded a lot of people of something, I just can't remember what it was.
So she wears the wig in her house.
The Brett
Her
Kavanaugh
one tooth
hearings.
is trying
and
to
his
escape.
tears turned out to be more
a wig?
powerful
It's a wig.
than the tears of Christine Blasey Ford, which were the tears of an alleged victim. But in America, there's a thing about both white vigilantism and white tears, particularly male white tears.
There's an L in there.
Really white tears in general, because that's what Karens are, right? They Karen out, and then as soon as they get caught, it's like
You're Karening right now.
green waterworks. White men can get away with that too, and it has the same effect.
Okay, a couple things. First off, my wife made a great point. She said, they say Karen, it's usually a term for like white women. That's for the man. What if someone said, oh, you know how they Shaniqua out? What do you mean? They end up on World Star, they tear off someone's weave. I'm just saying, what if someone said that?
Television.
Violent, right? Aggressive. No, of course you can't do that. No. So that in and of itself is racist. But let me be really clear about something, too. Yes, Brett Kavanaugh's tears were more impactful than Christine Blasey Ford for two reasons. One, she's a liar. She wasn't the victim, right? Nothing matched up with the FBI, with what she told the press and what she told her own therapist.
She was crazy.
She was absolutely insane. And here's something else, okay? It's true. Male tears are more impactful. Let me explain to you why. And women, if you're watching, I want you to sound off in the chat here, because I think you probably all know this to be true. Married, engaged. Okay. Does your wife cry? Every now and then?
Yeah.
Token Allen? Your girlfriend?
now and
Yeah. Tool Man?
Yes.
Quarter Black?
Sometimes randomly.
Only when I make her.
Right.
Oh.
Well,
Mine does. Let me.
Not really.
How often do you cry in front of your wife?
very rarely.
Very rarely. And so
Only in bed.
My wife, will cry much more often than I will. Now, let me ask you guys, seriously. If you cry, does your wife go, take a step back? Oh, wait, this is different.
Yeah.
This is more. Why? Because men typically don't process their emotions through tears. Often, and this is something in marriage therapy I learned early on in premarital counseling, that rage is usually a tool designed to disguise pain. So usually men process it in sort of like today. You know what? I'm angry. You know why? Because I really hope that they don't lynch this kid. There's a lot going on right now. I'm truly sad for the state of our country, and I just so happen to, as part of my job, have to turn the rage into something that entertains you. But when a man cries, it means that he is beyond the point of normal or acceptable coping mechanisms. It is more impactful when a man cries because he cries probably at a 1 to 10 ratio to most women. My wife can count on her hand the amount of times I've cried, barring when actual relatives have died.
Yeah.
It's incredibly rare. And there's nothing wrong with crying as a man. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you don't do it all the time because then it actually means something. And we all know that. It's not because of racism or white privilege. If anything, it's because it's not really acceptable for men to cry. Because they're expected to be stronger. They're expected to be able to cope. You know that, and I know that. And so what do? Is they try and remove masculinity in all facets, right? Women, when they talk about wanting to be treated equally entirely, well, they don't really mean that. Like when you look at this trans professor who supports pedophiles, I don't know the name right now, but there are a lot of these. They say, I just want to be treated like one of the guys. Do you know how we treat each other? You don't want that kind of heat. Women don't want.
You really don't want to be treated like that. That's the thing.
No.
You don't want to be treated like a man. Do you realize what happens if you mouth off to a man and you insult him personally? You don't know him, you're not friends. His mother, you give him a shove. Guess what? It's coming to blows. You don't want that. And so what they try and do is say, well, that's wrong. Zero violence tolerance. So we remove all masculinity. You know what? I want a guy with a little bit of backbone. And that's why we don't treat women the way we treat men. A good man treats a woman better than he treats men.
I would hope so.
Yeah, we all treat each other like pieces of shit all the time.
You find the thing that they're most sensitive about, and then you expose it and make fun of it.
Right.
That's not how you want to be treated.
I've told my wife that. She's like, you made fun of his mom's cancer? I'm like, what else was I
Yeah, you're like, what? Yeah.
Yes.
What?
Duh.
Progeria's not funny, unless he is wearing a Charlie Brown shirt, then it's hilarious.
He's got three hairs.
I asked him to kick a football, pulled it away. It still works.
He was crying because his mom died? Yeah, that's why I let him out of the car at the rest area.
Yes.
It's like, this car doesn't need to be filled with estrogen, you big pussy. guys aren't supposed to cry. You learn from a young age. Like,
Right.
that's basically what we're told.
Well, you don't cry, and I think there's a middle ground. You don't cry
Over nothing.
Over nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, there is
Fuck up.
still that in society where it's like, no woman's like, that whole idea of the male that's soft and, really in touch with his feelings. Do you really think women are attracted to that? Like, oh, who's that big vagina over there?
Yes.
Bawling by the bar.
Like Brendan Fraser
He
and
could protect
Bedazzled
me.
just crying.
Yeah,
at
do you
the
think
sunset.
he could? Do you think he could maybe take me out? I like this guy.
He's in touch with his
This
emotions.
ballless wimp.
What's that? Leave that 6'2" Greek god statue Olympic lifter over there. I want the one crying over slam poetry. What was it you said? You're a willow in the wind? Something like that?
Watch Louder with Crowder live, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.